Hey Hornets, how are we? Welcome along to WD18, the Watford fan channel with myself, Jacob Culshaw, Charlie Zazzera, Sam Ucko, back again for the first video all together as a three for a while. It's I'm trying to think the last one we did, lads, when we were all together on the same stream. I have to apologise first off. I wasn't about for the predictions video on Sunday, but fear not. The fear, one person who probably cares. I've actually written them down, and we'll go through the sort of season predictions from myself, comparing them with Sam and Charlie throughout today's video. But a lot on the way. We're going to be talking about the latest transfer news. We talk about our latest addition. We're going to have a breakdown of him as well. We'll be looking ahead to our trip to the Valley on Saturday with 3,000 Hornets going to be in that away and packed on the early kickoff at 12:30 on Saturday at Charlton. And then we're just going to have a chat about Watford as we normally do. Sam Ucko, talk to me. It just feels incredible for someone like yourself, of your caliber, of your ilk, to be back doing streams just regularly. How does it feel?
I know. Do you know what? When I was on the other side of the world, the one thing keeping me up at night was I was missing this. And no, it's really good to be back. I think we all sort of at the end of last season with everything that happened with Tom Cleverley, I think we all just wanted a bit of a break from football, bit of a step back from Watford. But it's been a while. I'm ready to get back into it, as I'm sure everyone else is. And yeah, obviously part of that package is sitting on these streams once or twice a week. So buzzing to be back. I mean, you say, Jacob, that last time us three did a stream together. I'm trying to think the last time we did a stream, we were all in the same country. Was it the Cleverley one? Might have been, you know. Wow.
Surely not. Surely not. Charlie, talk to me how, I mean, look, it's always an absolute pleasure seeing your face, but there is something really exciting maybe happening at Watford. You know, I want to whisper it quietly and chuck out the cliche, but there is, it just feels like there's something in the air. Is it something, is it smelling a little bit off, or is it smelling a little bit like, you know what, we could be cooking?
That smell, it's definitely unrecognizable. I'm not sure. Before this, I quickly set up like the squad depth, and we're going to go through and we're going to pick. I know we might have said in the video, but I think because loads of people have already done it, predicting what they think the starting 11 is, I think we should pick our starting 11. So I've put together the squad depth, and we'll look through it. But yeah, that made my the vibe meter is, I don't know, 7 out of 10. I reckon Saturday morning it'll be 8 out of 10.
Can we make this a regular feature, Charlie's vibe meter? I think it's a good gauge of how everyone's feeling, to be honest, most of the time.
I've got a lot of time for that. You know, for me, that should be, on its day, there might not be anything better than a Charlie Zazzera. Actually, I found it the other day, it's not Zazzera, it's Zazzera, according to my Italian colleague.
What does he know?
I know. You know what's mad though, Charlie, with the vibe meter? I think, let's come back to you, check back in. London Bridge, first point in. Could be an 8.
Yeah, I think it could be 6 now. First thing on Saturday could be 7. First beer 8. Who knows what it'll be if we get a win at the Valley.
I trust Charlie more than me with this sort of thing, because I think a core Watford memory I have was, I don't know which manager it was under, lose track nowadays, but we were playing such good football. I turned to Charlie in the rookery and just looked at him and went, "We are so back." And then 5 minutes later, we were 2-1 down. It's just a core Watford memory for me.
Yeah, Sam's vibe meter on a match day just goes like this the whole game.
Thanks so much to everyone who's watching live. Apologies for the slightly delayed start. Firstly, it's very humid outside, but I was late coming back from work and the trains got delayed, and hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. Hacker made a very good point. It's a big season in general, isn't it? For Watford and as a whole, really. Very, very true. But a couple of hot takes already. One from Roberto the Hornet. Vivaldo Semedo is getting championship top scorer. Calling it now. Roberto, what's in your cup of tea? Lawrence is saying Mikel Antonio's left West Ham, would be good at Watford. Charlotte says 2 days to go. Big season for Rocco Vata, says Peter. And thanks so much to Jack for the lovely comment about being back. We talked about the prediction show on Sunday, which was a fantastic watch from the lads. You can check that out on, I was going to say on iPlayer, but you can watch it on Catch Up and give it a watch, because we do this at the end of the season where we react, we look back on our predictions, which for me, lads, is one of the best videos of the year, because some of the ones last year were absolutely honking. But look, let's get straight into it. Charlie, should we go through a bit of just transfer news in general? Sam included as well, by the way. It's not just the Charlie thing. But Charlie, do you want to talk to me about what's happening with João Ferreira?
I was going to ask you. I thought he was going to be a player of the season, wasn't he? How have you taken the news?
Yeah, it's been tough.
A tough week. Yeah, a bit Partridge meme, really. Didn't feel like he was ever a Watford player in my eyes. He came in under Ben Manga, didn't he? I know people have said he's looked good when he's played. I can't really remember that too much. It's always, you always look at players, and the more mystique and the less you know about them, the more you rate them. And I think that was the case. I don't think he ever wanted to be here. And I think, am I right in saying we got a bit of a fee for him? Maybe we flipped it. So I think we've done that a couple of times, even with Serralta and Porteous, who's left this week to team up with Heung-min Son. Fair play to him. Football's a funny old game, isn't it? So not much really to say on Ferreira.
Yeah, I'll share the screen here from friend of the channel and Watford FC correspondent for the Watford Observer, Adam Jury, who just put the confirmation through that João Ferreira leaves Watford for Ligue 2 side Saint Etienne. I thought they were in Ligue 1, to be fair, but Watford have confirmed the sale of João Ferreira to Saint Etienne for a fee that the Watford Observer understands is €3 million, Sam, plus add-ons. And when you think of the fact that he made 5 appearances for us in 2.5 years at the club, all of which came in the second half of the 22-23 campaign, mostly under Wilder, I'd suspect. And he spent obviously a bit of time out at Udinese. He was at Braga as well. That's not bad business for Watford. And actually, maybe a better question, Sam, is in general, Watford have sold well this summer.
Yeah, best we've sold in a long time. And you'd imagine there will still be a couple more exits. Tom Daly-Bashir, who's been linked with a move away. We'll talk about it later with the squad numbers coming out, but you'd imagine that Dan Backman's close to a move away as well. He's been left out completely of that. So yeah, but we've definitely sold well. To be honest with you, because it was that season was such a whirlwind, wasn't it? With under Bilic, under obviously Rob Edwards, under Chris Wilder, it was such a whirlwind. And from memory, he didn't play as much, partly because Ryan Andrews broke through at a very similar time that we signed him, if memory serves me correctly there. Mm. But I've got a bit of a quiz question for both of you, and do one each because there's 15 here. The Ben Manga sort of, I don't want to call it an experiment, the Ben Manga regime hasn't proved to have been or as good as anyone thought it would be, almost coming in and revolutionising Watford Football Club. As far as I'm aware, there was about 15 signings who came in under Ben Manga. So over two windows, so the January window and the summer window. Can we name all 15?
Oh my word!
So go with one each. There's 2 who are still at the club. Only two players who signed under Ben Manga who are still at the club.
Okay, who wants to start?
Ishmael Kone.
Ishmael Kone is one.
Henrik Rouge.
Henrik Rouge is another one.
Assombalonga.
Britt Assombalonga.
He's nicked my one. I'm going to go with Ryan Porteous.
Ryan Porteous is one. Charlie, think of one. There was Wesley who?
There was, oh my God, I was going to throw Akraf Lazar in there, but I pulled out of it. I'm going to go with, Samuel
Kalu. Samuel Kalu was earlier. Samuel Kalu was in the Premier League, I think.
Keenan Davis.
I think that's Charlie's one.
Keenan Davis was just before Ben Manga. Davis was signed in the summer before.
All right, rattle off the rest, Sam. We haven't got all day. Come on.
Well, there was one up. There was João Ferreira, obviously. The 2 who are still at the club are Tom Ince and Georgie Chatfatadze. And the one I was surprised you missed out, Charlie. You absolutely loved him at the time. Was Leandro Bacuna.
What a shout from Jake.
Leandro Bacuna over there. We had Hurtado, who left this summer, I believe. Mileta Rivic, Jake Livermore, Reece Healy, and Jamal Lewis. Those were the 15 or so signings under Ben Manga. I may have left 1 or 2 out. Raymond I was just before Ben Manga, Jack. So yeah, not the most successful regime, although we have flipped good money on the whole from those players as well, to be fair.
I wonder if that game show is going to get commission.
I was going to say
Ben Manga signings.
One of the nichest pub quizzes I've ever heard. you know what? Yeah, that's unbelievable. I mean, just in general, lads, I was going back to what we were saying about Ferreira and Watford being sort of a pretty active selling, Charlie. Rajovic, Sierralta, Tikvic, Porteous and Ferreira for a total of around £10 million. You know, we're not saying the ownership is perfect by any stretch, but what we're saying here is that they are good at flipping. And do you reckon, I mean, one thing to ask is, how many more do you think will leave? As Sam mentioned a couple there, but how many do you believe will actually leave before the deadline?
I only think one or two, looking at that squad depth. We're going to talk about Max Alleyne in a bit, coming in from Man City. And then Adam Drury reported that we're also pretty close to a midfielder. So that kind of opens the door, I think, for a Tom Delly or Kayembe sale, in my opinion. And then, I mean, I'm looking at the squad depth. I'll quickly get it up, but I think it's pretty, what's the word? What's the best word to describe it? I'd say lean, maybe. Two in every position, couple of versatile players who can play in a lot, but yeah, I think lean might be the best word. A couple of injuries would be pretty worrying in my opinion, so I can't imagine there to be too many outgoings, but all depends if we bring in maybe 2-3 more.
Should we talk about that man who's just appeared at the back, Charlie, who is the Manchester City centre-back, Max Alleyne, who is expected to come in? The sort of brief early stages that I've read about him, Charlie, is the fact that he's an 18-year-old centre-back, 19-year-old centre-back now. He hasn't played senior football outside of under 23s. City picked him up from Southampton, or there was a club round there, right? And that's basically what I know. And it's first move into men's senior football, because look, a lot of players play under 23, right? But this is a proper championship move, and they've extended his deal, Manchester City. So what do you know about him, and what can we expect in terms of his style of play?
Well, style of play, I was looking at the clips before, and is exactly what you'd expect from a Manchester City centre-half. So composed on the ball. First thing I've thought in my comparison was John Stones. I think he could give a couple of people in the Rookery end a few heart attacks, the way he's kind of comes back and tries to sell strikers to get a bit of yard of space, comes out quite similar to a Banquer, really nice passing range through the lines. Really interesting player. He hasn't played senior football. It's going to be a baptism of fire for him, but he's so highly regarded. City bought him from Southampton when he was 15 for 1.5 mil.
Wow.
How much were you worth when you were 15?
The Twix, maybe.
Throw in some prawn cocktail crisp. So really highly rated. Last season he won the Man City EDS, the Elite Development Squad Player of the Year. He's been captain for the City team for the Premier League 2. So comes with great pedigree. I was quite shocked because I don't think we've signed a City player since Tom Delly Bashiru, which is quite a long time ago, considering they developed so many players. But then looking into it, and I know Luke's flagged it, and I know the Coach's Voice did a piece with Petzolano actually a day after he was confirmed the Watford job, or a day before, I can't remember. But he was talking about Pep invited him into Man City last season. So Luke suggested that's where he's seen him firsthand, and this is a Pezzolano signing. So it looks good on paper. My big fear is he's a 19-year-old lad. One of our players get injured. We've got Caben as one of that quartet at the back, and him coming up against your Kiefer Moores, your big boys. It's going to be a real challenge, but it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on. And we've also got we've got Aquama as well, who we got back from Chelsea in the academy, and he's highly rated. So interesting to see the role he plays. I imagine we'll see him maybe next Tuesday against Norwich in the League Cup. But it's good to get a body there. is the profile what I'd want in terms of the age? I mean, if you look at Pollock, Caben, Abankwah, Alleyne, what's that? Average age of 21, 22. So, yeah, I think it's high risk, if I'm honest, but I'm interested to see what he can do.
This is the piece, by the way, that Charlie's referring to from Paolo Pezzolano with the Coach's Voice. So if you want to give that a read, if you go over to the Coach's Voice, it's definitely worth giving a read. And it gives a bit more background to Pezzolano, who we're still yet to obviously hear him do an interview, not only whether it's in Spanish or in English, and I'm sure that will come at the right point. But yeah, if you wanted to hear a bit of background on how his journey ended up at Watford, I'd highly recommend giving it a read. Sam, just from what you're hearing there from Charlie about Max Alleyne and what he could bring to Watford, obviously we can only go off what Charlie said there, and I have to admit I haven't watched a lot of him. I've seen the compilation, and he looks really tidy on the ball, as you'd expect from a City centre back. I guess the question I wanted to ask you is that centre back dynamic. Pollock, we're waiting to hear about his situation after what happened at Deportivo. Obviously, he came off. Whether he'll be fit for Saturday. You've got Abankwah, you've got Caben, you've got Alleyne who's come in. Tikvich has moved on. Porteous has moved on. Ogbon has moved on. So, as Charlie said, it's quite a lean back line. Would you have one more in there, or do you think that's enough now to get us through to January?
I think definitely one more in there is really needed. Particularly with we don't know the Matty Pollock situation at the moment. We don't know if he'll be fit for Charlton or if he'll be back for the game or out for a longer period. I really like Kevin Caben, but we know his fitness problems. And then ultimately, in the worst case scenario, if Pollock is out for a little while and we're left with Caben, who could feasibly get injured, it's a big ask asking a young Alleyne to come in as well as alongside James Abankwah, who's also quite young. So I'd quite like, as much as I like the leadership of the likes of Pollock, I think Abankwah's developing into a leader as well. I'd quite like an experienced head in there. I'm not saying I'd have taken him at all, but almost someone in that mould of Connor Cody.
I'll throw a name out there, Sam.
I know what you were going to say. Ben Mee. Okay, I thought you were going to say someone else there. I thought you were going to go with Liam Cooper, whose name you floated on our group chat a few weeks ago. But someone in that ilk, I think, almost on the other end of their career, to Alleyne, who I think can come in more of a leadership role and can come in when called upon, because I think it's a bit of a risk when you've got so many young players and also injury-prone players mixed together.
For sure. And Rio mentioned in the comment section, it was actually Rio who kind of gave me the assist for that one. Someone mentioned Ben Mee the other day, Charlie. Would you take him?
Yeah, I think Sam was pretty spot on in terms of having a bit of experience in there. And look, we know Bonner didn't play a lot for us, but I actually thought he was pretty good when he did play for us, even that game against Man City in the League Cup last season. So we had Wes Hoot the season before, who was pivotal player of the season. So yeah, I think it's important. I think it's also worth noting that Mark Bowler has played as like the third centre back if we do go with a back three. But yeah, I don't know if you've got the article there about Alleyne and Watford looking to make some more business. I don't know if they mentioned a centre back or a centre midfielder, but yeah, I think Sam's right. We could definitely do with an experienced centre back in there.
Let's get that article up that Charlie mentioned, because there's another interesting bit of news in that as well. So Max Alleyne set to sign for Watford online from Manchester City. And the Watford Observer are reporting that Alleyne was at the club's London County training ground for a medical on Wednesday, and a season-long loan switch is set to be confirmed. And as we said, Pollock, Abankwah, Caben, Alleyne will be the senior options available. But this is where, Sam, it gets interesting, and it was a sort of bit of gold dust from Adam Jury that I didn't expect, but it is understood. You know what? It was the jury drop, Charlie, but also maybe I was a bit naive. I should have expected it because Watford have been active in this transfer market. It's understood that Watford are progressing in their attempt to sign another player in that position, along with a further holding midfield reinforcement. Now, Sam, you've got your player in that position, but the bigger question is the further holding midfield reinforcement. What type of holding midfield are we talking about here? Are we talking about another Kyprianou? Are we talking about another loser? Because both have been playing quite deep in pre-season is probably my big takeaway. I'd like to see Loser a little bit more advanced and let Kyprianou do the sort of dirty work in front of the back four. But what type of holding midfielder would you like in this squad?
Yeah, definitely. I think I don't want to paraphrase Kyprianou here, but I think in an interview he did with the BBC, he said something like his job isn't on the ball; it's to almost clear up and give everyone else their opportunities on the ball. It was something along those lines, which I thought was really, really interesting. Yeah, I think it also all hinges on whether Tom Dele-Bashiru and Edu Kayembe move on as well. I think someone a bit more almost deep lying, but I don't know if mobile is the right word because I haven't seen enough of Kyprianou yet. But I think someone who can almost be a bit more box to box or can progress the ball a bit. Like you said, I think Imran Loser can do that. But I think we utilise Imran Loser's strengths if he's a little bit further forward on the pitch. But I think someone a bit more of a ball carrier than Kyprianou, I think would be really, really good. Whoever it is, I don't think they'd be a start. I think those two holding players would be Loser and Kyprianou. But I think it would be someone just to come in and complement them. And there's a lot of games in this league. We know that Loser, over the years, last season, he did remain fit, but he has had some injury problems as well. So I think someone just to come in and complement those two and ease the pressure a bit.
Someone raised, firstly, I agree with you, Sam, but Charlie, this is an interesting one. And I saw it floating around. If I can get the player's name up, and it might just be one to look out for. Lennon Miller at
Motherwell.
At Motherwell, and Udinese now leads Bologna and Torino. Udinese now lead Bologna and Torino for the signing of Lennon Miller, according to reports in Italy. Now, we all know what that means. He's 18 years old, but there is an option for him to come on loan to Watford for a year, if that happens. Now, I might be jumping the gun there, but I don't know if you know anything about him. 2, do you reckon there's anything in that? And 3, what type of midfielder would you like?
1, don't know too much about him. Really highly rated in Scotland. A few of the Scots who've gone over to Italy have done quite well. Who's the other lad at Bologna? Ferguson, I think it is. Lewis Ferguson.
Yeah.
He had a big injury. I think we need a bit more of an experienced. Well, saying that, maybe not, but it wouldn't be a Watford squad, would it, without a traditional free agent that we get in the last minute, like your Bacunas, like your Carlos Sanchez. Get in the comments and let us know. So while we're here, it's always good to have a fun game. So let me just get up the free agent market. Right. What names have we got on here?
I see Dukes straight away. I'd love him.
A return?
Oh, surely.
I think he's supposed to move somewhere else, actually.
Charlie, surely it's got to activate the midfielder tab on the free agent.
We're getting a defender as well.
Yeah, Decore's going to Saudi, I think.
Is he?
Shame, yeah. Fair play.
Listen, fair play. I didn't know he was a free agent. I looked at him. He used to play for Palace. He'd be decent.
I think he can cover at fullback as well, Riedewald.
Yeah, that would be a decent signing.
This defensive midfield list is not exciting me.
No.
Where's
Carlos Sanchez when you need him?
What other players have we bought in like that? I'm struggling to remember.
Everyone says Ben Watson, but we bought him for a fee, didn't we? Carlos Sanchez. You think I'm like an experienced head on loan, Matt Connolly.
Do you remember when we were linked with Paco Alcancera when we were in the Premier League?
Wow.
I'm sure we were quite close to getting him, like when he was in his pomp, and I was so excited, and it didn't happen.
Koviak would be so Watford. He used to play for West Brom. Says Jack.
Next, please, Charlie.
Return of Jamal Lewis.
Was Bernard Mensah at us at one point?
Yeah, I think that's a different Bernard Mensah.
Oh, this reeks of Watford. Daniel Marty. One year contract.
That does really say Watford.
Could do this all day, you know.
Eric Bailly.
Jason Denier. That's another absolute Chancellor Mbemba. I mean, this is getting even better. The lower the list, the better it gets. But I actually was linked as soon as I saw that link, Sam. I was like, it does scream a free agent or maybe a Prem loan. How many loans are we allowed? How many more loans are we allowed? Because obviously Kurumgard's on loan. Alleyne's on loan. Wiley's on loan. Anybody else on loan?
There must be another one.
We've got a few more, haven't we?
Okay. So is it a Prem loan, or someone said, as Ben said, a Ben Pearson Tappet type ratty midfielder?
Bring back Jake Livermore. He's not doing much at the moment. He'd do a job. He'd do a job when he came in.
Anyone who can give some shouts in the comment section, let us know. But it is understood that Watford are trying to get another centre-back and another further holding midfield reinforcement. So we'll keep an eye on that one. One thing that we've always got to do midway through the stream, if you could leave a like, comment down below your thoughts as always. We always love reading your comments. Subscribe to the channel. Plenty of exciting content on the way and turn on your post notifications. But Sam, the bigger question is, talk to me. Squad numbers. As a football cliche man, any squad numbers there that you're going, that can't happen?
God, well, the number 3 was left empty, interestingly, and I was not too happy with any of our fullbacks not taking the number 3, particularly Caleb Wiley or Mark Boller. So, yeah, immediately they're on my fraud watch for this season. I'm not too happy with them. And one mistake and I'll be there. Yeah, I mean, I think Cipriano and Pollock should have switched numbers, to be honest.
How do we feel about Cipriano as 5?
Yeah, I know. It should be Pollock should be 5 and Cipriano should be 6.
I'm going to put it out there, lads. I saw the notification come through and I thought, Cipriano's 5.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
It just felt right, Charlie.
You like it?
Yeah.
I like a holding midfielder as number 4 as well. I see Ben's got that.
It's nice to see we've retired Bayo's number for the season as well. Yeah, it's a nice touch.
That's the only thing we can do, right?
Did you see that video of when Irakunda got his 66 shirt? It was a nice video. Got emotional. I mean, the big one off this list is, which was the talking point yesterday, was Egle Selvik being given the number 1 shirt deservedly. And no sign of Dan Backman on this list and throughout pre-season as well. I'm not too sure where Dan is, probably doing his own training program in England or in Austria. But yeah, you'd imagine a move soon. I think Turkey's been mentioned, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, you think how long he's been at Watford, right? I mean, he's been here a long time and seen probably quite a lot in that time. Lads, one thing I wanted to raise, Nestoria and Kunda taking the 66. What really fascinated me about that video was having to get the EFL approval to take that number. Why?
White nonsense, probably.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Joe mentioned a good point. Surely Barami can still do a shift at DM. That could be the reinforcement.
If we're short of centre backs, Mariappa's back at the club now. Congrats to Maps, by the way, legend. Back at the club, full time now. He can do a shift at centre back.
Was Rocco 11 last season?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Connor makes a fantastic point. Mark Bowler taking the 16. I'm not loving a left back having 16. That's got to be a central midfielder number. And that's WD18 for you. We move on to the next segment, which is looking ahead to Charlton, because we've talked about transfer rumours, we've talked about squad numbers, we've talked about the vibe meter, which is at 7 for Charlie at this moment in time. Mine's probably hitting maybe 7.5. Sam, for you, 8?
Yeah, 7.5, 8. I think it's fair.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Opening day memories, Charlie. What's your favourite opening days as a Watford fan? Because I think most people go Everton away, Prem, 2015-16.
Were either you two there? Still in
I wasn't. I was only worth a Twix at the time.
Yeah, that was a good jolly up in Liverpool watching Igalo putting Johnny Stones on his bottom. Recent memories: Watford 4, QPR 0. Did we score inside 42 seconds? Wasn't it? Yeah, what a way to start a season that was, by the way. What else? I like the old school one. A couple of Friday nights. Wolves away. Jordan Stewart scoring a thunderbolt, and then Norwich away, which is pretty. That's pretty. I remember watching that around my mates. Yeah, that was wicked. And then last year wasn't too bad, was it? Haven't we got like an insane opening day record?
No, we don't talk about that, Charlie. We do not jinx anything on this channel. We're not mentioning the record. If all goes well, we'll talk about the record. But yeah, I think we do. I'm too scared to jinx anything.
I really enjoyed, lads. For me, one of the great away days, just in general, let alone opening days, was the first game under Zola. And I'm thinking Matty Vidra scoring 2 absolute beauties and then running over like this to the away ends. And in the sunshine, Zola's in his suit, got a couple of buttons undone, probably smelt lovely, and just was looking like he was loving life. But Vidra, I think it was one of those games where I think Martin Taylor got sent off, if I remember correctly, or at least he was playing. He was playing. I know Martin Taylor was playing, but there was like a mix of like the old Lawrence Bassini days with a mixture of sort of Pozzo's new players. And it was just this weird team where you had like Martin Taylor and Alman Abdi in the same team, and you're just like, what is happening here? And then, I don't know if Steve Leo Belek was in the matchday squad, but that was sort of the vibe of that team. It was just absolutely random. But yeah, that's one of my favourites. Sam, for you?
Yeah, that Everton one was interesting. I wasn't. I mean, I didn't make it that day, but the big. I remember one of the reasons why, if you've got the club coach before, one of the reasons why the club coach now leaves so early before a game is I think the club coaches all missed the first goal because Miguel Leun scored quite early for us that day. And I think a couple of hundred Watford fans who got the official coaches missed the goal, which, that couldn't have gone down too well. I think, there's a couple. Obviously, last season was unbelievable. I think Millwall away was great because it was the most Watfordy game. We go 2-0 up with 2 unbelievable goals. Kayembe from a corner, Georgie free kick. And then we do the Watford and they pull it back to 2-2. And then Milita Rajovic in the last minute with a header. And it was carnage. It was a great day out. I really enjoyed, I think it was actually Mo Salah's first ever game for Liverpool. We drew 3-3. That might have been the first day of the season or the second game.
Big Bad Britos score.
Big Britos scored with the last minute. I think it was a Richarlison assist on his debut as well. That one was a good one. And then obviously, I don't know, one that I've always sort of been quite I think sentimental about because I think it was one of the most special times in my lifetime being a Watford fan was those first 4 games under Javi when we beat Brighton 2-0. I think Pereira scored 2, including a lovely volley. Then we went to Burnley and beat them. We beat Tottenham. There was someone else. I can't remember, but we won.
Swansea away?
It was Crystal Palace. Swansea was the year before that. It was Crystal Palace at home. And it was just, I remember that start of the season so fondly. So hoping that for a repeat this year wouldn't be too bad.
Some golden memories for Sam Ucko. 2 things. I just found out Martin Taylor scored, didn't get sent off. 2, one to throw out on the free agent front. Peter's made a great shout. Isaac Hayden, who's just been released by Newcastle as a free agent. I think he went out on loan in the Champ last season.
He's been QPR and Portsmouth loan. Quick story on is it Martin Taylor? I was once, if anyone knows him, he's a big lad, and I was once in the toilet and he came up next to me. I just looked up at that. Anyway,
where was that?
I think that was when I was doing work experience. All that at the club all those years ago.
Good lad.
I didn't speak to him while we were using the toilet. I just focused directly, didn't say a word.
I've gone to the toilet next to Jorginho before.
Nice.
That's the only one. But I'd take Martin Taylor.
Did he do a funny run up before?
Yeah, he jumped actually for the urinal. No, I don't know. Yeah, that was a weird one actually. But Sam, any shots for you?
Have you been in the toilet with anyone, Sam?
Yeah, Ray Parlour was one. We were out in London, and I was at an event, and Ray Parlour was there. And if you know Ray Parlour and you see him on his socials, then he's good to have on a night out. And I was in the loo with him. That's my story for you. This has been. I've never had a Cobra bomb yet. I need to take that off the bucket list. But I genuinely think it's the most random video we've done. We've gone on so many tangents here.
Oh, superb. So, look, if the people don't want it, we're more than happy to change it. But if you like it, let us know in the comment section. I'll leave a like on the video. Much appreciated. I mean, Rio, what a shout, by the way. Was waiting for the toilet against Palace at Wembley. Out came Obiolari.
And it absolutely stunk.
Wow.
and look, Nick's won it. I've been to the toilet next to Sam Ucko. And that's what you know you've won at life. Look, we move on to Charlton. Sorry, guys, for a little bit of a little bit with a segue. We are off to the Valley to play Nathan Jones's Charlton, which is definitely a factor for this. And if you had said to Paolo Pezzolano, what is probably the most championship welcome away at the Valley, early kickoff, Nathan Jones, newly promoted, sell out, full house, away end's going to be loud and packed. The sun hopefully should be out. I don't think it gets more. In terms of away days, there are tougher away games, but in terms of atmosphere, in terms of the intensity, and in terms of how physical it's going to be a big, big challenge for this Watford team. This is not going to be an easy game by any stretch. From my perspective, Charlie, I'm feeling a little bit cautious going into it, if I'm honest, because I feel like there's been some key players like Georgie who won't probably start. You look at some of the new guys who come in, and when I actually think of the team, how many of the new signings are actually going to start? We'll get to that in just a second. But I'm quite cautious about this game. Similarly, actually, to where I was at Millwall in terms of that as an away game. So for you, how are you feeling going to this?
You're cautious. I'm worried. Knowing what Nathan Jones is like, knowing the style of football, which I don't think we handle that great. I'm still getting over Luton away last season. I think it's going to be a very similar game to that. They're going to be frenetic. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to be direct. I do hope Matty Pollock's fit because I think we're going to need him. I like Abankwah and Caben, but I don't know if they've played this kind of game before. Obviously, Abankwah had a really bad loan spell at Charlton as well, so their fans will probably give him a bit. So it's going to be a big game for him. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I think the more we can keep the ball on the floor and play, the better chance we will have. So it's going to be a bit of a cauldron in there. We need cool heads. We need our better players to get on the ball. The one thing that I'm thinking back to the Deportivo game where I think we let them have the ball and we were very kind of comfortable and compact out of possession. I think Charlton are going to want us to have the ball and they're going to say, come and break us down. And then when they have the ball, they're going to be quick. They're going to be direct. And then set pieces, throw-ins, stuff like that. So hopefully we've got real quality on the ball and it's going to be too much for them. But they've made some pretty standout signings. Charlie Kelman, who scored one of the only players to get 20 goals. I've stolen that from Sam. But yeah, they're going to be right up for it. So we're going to need to be as up for it and just let our football do the talking.
Before Charlie gets the tactics board out, Sam, I wanted to ask you about Charlton because you watched them in the playoff final, right, against Leyton Orient. Yeah. So firstly, what did you make of them that day? But number two, how much will the Nathan Jones factor be in full force come Saturday? Because let's get this straight, he will want to beat Watford without a shadow of a doubt with his connections to Luton Town, but also because he can send a statement to these Charlton fans and Charlton players that they are back in the Championship and this is a project that he's really excited about. So, yeah, on those two sides of things, how did you see it?
Yeah, I mean, like you say there's no Watford against Luton this season, but there are the three games that we've got that will get us close to the derby as we can this season, unless we get them in the cup. Is this game against Charlton, game against Middlesbrough against Rob Edwards, and when Tom Cleverley's Plymouth play against Luton. That's the closest we're getting to the derby this season, I think. But yeah, I mean, at Wembley, I was so impressed with them. Firstly, I think their fans were absolutely excellent across that playoff final weekend. I was lucky enough to be at all three games. I think Charlton were the best fans across the 3 days consistently over the 90 minutes. I thought they were great, and that's led by their manager, I think, who's really bought into everything at their football club. I don't like Nathan Jones for obvious reasons due to his Luton connections, but I think you have to give it to him that he's really good at, I mean, less so at Stoke and at Southampton, but with what he did at Luton and what he's done here at Charlton, I think he's really good at building connections with the fan base and really getting buy-in from them for what he wants. So I thought their fans were brilliant, but the thing that stuck out to me was just the organisation all round. They scored a fantastic goal, which proved to be the winner. And after they scored that goal, it wasn't a case, they didn't need to score another one. Again, it was just telling Orient, come and break us down, and Orient can get near them at all. I think they might have hit the woodwork. I can't remember, to be fair, but they just couldn't get near them at all. And yeah, I think it's going to be such a tough game. It's a slightly different team. They don't have Thierry Small anymore, who's moved on to Preston, who I think was quite a big player for them last season. But yeah, like you both have said, I'm slightly worried about this. I'd actually go as far as saying I'm not sure what you two think and what the comments think. I'd have rather have gone to any of the relegated Premier League sides than any of the promoted League One sides. I'd have genuinely have rather played Ipswich, Leicester, or Southampton than Charlton on the first weekend.
I think as a day, it's a great day. But in terms of football in isolation, Sam, I'd agree with you.
Charles?
Nah, I think you're miles off. I think playing against one of those big boys, they're all pretty. They're in pretty good. Well, especially Southampton or Ipswich, in pretty good mood, and they're just like the quality levels is vast. So yeah, like it's going to be a good test. But like similar to Millwall, if we just play our football, we will create chances. But this is a new look Watford. We don't really know what to expect. So that's why this is the best time of the year, because you're filled with hope. You don't know what's going to happen. And yeah, if we get a win, doesn't matter how it happens on a Saturday, it's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be beautiful. Nathan Jones factor, but also excellent players include for Charlton, Kaminsky, Bell, Burke and Berry. So there is a Luton Town feel to this Charlton team. There isn't a Luton Town feel to this Watford team because there's a lot of new players. And one thing I think we've got to be really careful of, lads, is the start. I really do believe that we have to come out the blocks well, because the last thing we want is to go behind against this team, because they're going to make it extremely difficult for us. With that in mind, Charlie, should we have a look at the lineup and where we think, or should we pick the team we'd go with for this?
I think quite a few people have done what they think it'll be, but I think we should go with what we think. So should we just go through positions and argue, make our way and see how we get on? Obviously in the comments, let us know who you'd have for each position. Goalkeeper?
Baxter.
Sign him up.
I'm joking. Save it, Selvik.
Right back, Ryan Andrews or Jezza?
I'd go in Gakia.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think I've said I think we'll see plenty of both throughout the season. I just think there's almost times and places for both players.
Yeah, agreed.
I think Gaki is probably slightly better suited to a game like this.
Yeah, I think I said it on the last stream, but I really like the idea of like Andrews off the bench against tired legs, like his pace and getting him further up the pitch if we're either chasing. So, who's going to be our centre halves? We don't know too much about Matty Pollock, but I think let's just assume he's fit.
I think if he's fit, he plays because of I think we're going to see plenty across all four centre backs this season. I think Caben's talented. Abankwah, we saw him last season. Alleyne, bit of an unknown entity, but comes with promise. But I think Pollock is probably, for what we're kind of come up against, we're going to come up against early long balls. They're going to come flying out the blocks. I think Pollock's got to start if he's fit.
Do we think he'll be fit? If we were going on a sort of barometer, and 100% will play to 0% won't, where are you landing, Sam?
I'd go 60% chance confident he'll play.
So we're basically saying it's going to be Caben and Abankwah if Pollock isn't fit, and Pollock replaces Caben if he is.
Yeah,
I think so.
Sorry, Caben replaces Pollock.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Oh, I agree with that. So I think we're set there. Left back, Wiley isn't 100% fit. Morris isn't going to be in the picture, I don't think, this season. So it's going to be Bowler.
Yeah,
I think so. And Bowler's been really impressive pre-season, came in really early. So looking at that back four and Selvik, it's pretty, I think it's pretty sturdy maybe. Maybe not as attacking. So it's going to be interesting. Like, well, actually, while we're here, Jacob, you went to the Deportivo game. What did you make about how we set up that day?
Yeah, it was really interesting because I don't know about you lads. I try not to read too much into pre-season as a whole now, because I think what goes missing sometimes is the fact that managers will try and do different ideas in the game at different moments to test them out. And it was quite clear when we lost the ball that Petzolano wanted both of his wingers as deep as possible to make it as compact as possible. Also, what I noticed was the shape that Watford had going forward a lot of the time felt like they were almost anticipating losing the ball, so they're in a good spot on the transition. It felt like they were really working on that. I think Watford's will be good on the break. That's something that I've just got a hunch with, because I think we've got some extremely exciting and young attacking players. I wasn't particularly impressed. I thought it didn't really click. It felt like my biggest takeaway, lads, was probably this is going to take a bit of time, what he's asking the players. And I think any of us who are expecting a really smooth transition into the season, I personally think I'm not expecting that. I'm not expecting that at all. I think the ideas that Petzolano wants to do, whilst I admire them, you can see that this is going to take a lot of work to make sure the timings are good and it's synchronized, really, because what he wants is similar to Pep in inverted commas, in the sense of repeated actions after repeated actions that we can just click with. And Mike, and I'll get onto my sort of predictions a little bit later on, but my feeling is that's a sort of system and style that does take quite a bit of time. The problem is you don't get time with Pozzo. So that's the sort of juggling act for Petzolano and the way he deals with it. But in terms of my overall assessment of the week, I thought there were some bright moments. But if you told me, did I think we were close to being ready in terms of what he wanted, I'd probably say no, but that doesn't mean it wasn't solid. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Fair assessment.
That's my takeaway. But I try not to read too much into preseason. It was pretty clear he was trying different ideas.
Cool. All right. I'm wary of time, and we've got Jacob's prediction as well. So let's try and rattle through. Midfield pivot. We've seen a lot of Loser and Kyprianou. Do we think those two are going to start in there on Saturday?
Yeah. It'll be Loser and the Kip.
The Kip? I've always kept to the protector.
The Kip?
The Kip.
What?
Sorry.
All right. The most advanced midfielder, whether that's an 8 or a 10. Do you know anything about Georgie's availability?
I think regardless, it's just going to be a big. I know we've said throw Pollock in there if he is fit. I just think the lack of pre-season minutes from what we've seen in the games in front of fans, at least he might have played in a couple behind closed doors. Yeah, I just think it's going to be a big ask for throwing him in at the deep end. And I actually think, and we spoke about this on our prediction video, Charlie, that I think we're going to see more of Sissoko this season than we potentially anticipate. And I think a game like this we could potentially do with his leadership.
And a bit of physicality, like even defending set pieces.
Yeah, I want to see more off the ball from him. But yeah, hopefully we see that, because I think he could be useful for a game like this.
I think it's really interesting Jack Greaves playing in the week, because I thought what Petzolano wants from his number 10, he's made it pretty clear he needs an engine in there and someone who's going to get about and be really proactive with the press and understand the triggers. And he's asking a lot. I think the number 10 is probably the most important position for him in the whole team, judging by what he said and what he needs from that player. Now, Georgie will start if he's fit. I'd be surprised if he started. And for that reason, I would go with Sissoko and Greaves on the bench and Ince. And yeah, I think that probably makes the most sense. And then we go out wide, lads.
Well, I mean, there's an interesting dilemma here if we're starting on, it'll be the left-hand side, but the right-hand side here is that obviously Vata and Mama are there, but we've also seen Doumbia experimented with on that side. And a lot of people are saying go with Doumbia, but I'd actually start Vata on that side to begin with. I think, like we've said, I think we're going to be best with the ball on the floor in a game like this, and getting the ball out wide to Vata, and we'll come on to the other side, but you'd imagine it'll be Quadro Baah to begin with. I think that's where our strong point's going to lie, and I'd quite like to have Vata and Baah out there, give them the ball and hope for the best in a game like this.
Should we do our front threes, lads? Go on, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, I actually agree with Sam. I know what he's saying about Doumbia, but I think he's still young, and to have him in a position that he's not 100% comfortable with, and Vata has got that X factor that we're going to need. So I'd have Vata, Kurumgard, and Baah with Doumbia coming off the bench, Semedo off the bench.
I would go Dumby on the left, Kurumgard through the middle, and Baah on the right.
Sam had the deciding vote. What did you say?
Yeah, Charlie, I think I'm with you. Apologies, Jacob. I think I'd go Rocco. I think I'd go Rocco. But we've got so many variations on that side. I think throughout the season that we'll see all of them, even when I think it might take some time for Irakunda to sort of work his way into the team and to see him at his peak powers, so to speak. And I mean, it's been mentioned as well, Baah potentially moving out to the left, and Irakunda playing on the right. So yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing the rotations there throughout the season.
Do you know what I think? Sorry, Charlie, go on.
I was just going to say, I think having off the bench Dumbia, Semedo, Irakunda is pretty good options. And just one thing I wanted to touch on, and Jacob, you might know more from the Deportivo game, when we were out of possession, and this is just a bit of a fear I had, and I listened to the Watford Buzz today, and they were talking about kind of the wingers playing that far back. I've got a bit of a fear about Baah doing this job, and knowing his injuries and knowing that he's playing, him receiving the ball here to have to get up to here compared to kind of receiving the ball here is a problem for me. Like how he's going to have to move his body that far up the pitch. So I don't know if it's a case of that we might have Baah who we might kind of leave up with like a Kurumgard as like a 2, and then even Vata we might even go with like an Ince or someone a bit more kind of defensive minded. So do you know what I mean? It might be like that 4-4-2. We've seen the out possession 4-4-2, which we've talked about quite a lot. So just something to bear in mind. But I don't like the idea of Baah being that far back, mainly for his own health, really, and keeping him as fit as possible.
No, I agreed. What I did actually notice where I was sat was right above the dugout. Firstly, Petzolano is very active on the sidelines, very active, constantly screaming at his players. I guess most head coaches are like that, but he was pretty involved in the game. I thought Baah was playing at 50%.
Good.
Because I think he was looking at next week going, I'm going to put it all in for that. And that's the type of player he is, isn't he? I feel like it's all or nothing with Baah. He can't really do.
I just so worry about Baah at his absolute best, how long you can actually have that for, though. Like, I don't know. He still, I think every time he runs, it's going to just fill me with excitement and dread at the same time.
Because most people off the bench, right, Sam?
Yeah. Even still, I think we'll see that as an option this season, because I don't think we can. Is it going to be too much of a tall order to expect him to play at his absolute peak for 3 games a week? It's not going to happen, I don't think. That's how we'll see him get injured. And we saw so many times last season he'd come on with 10, 15 to go and he changed the game. So that's also going to be an option for us. And we've got depth in that position. So yeah, it worries me as well. And I just hope it doesn't. He's not the sort, because he's a really confident character and a confident player. I just really don't hope it doesn't. That lack of confidence in his body finds its way into his game, because I think, for example, with Imran Loser, it's taken him 2 or 3 years. I do feel like that, to be honest with you, the over-concerned parent. I think with Loser, we saw after his basically his broken ankle at Millwall away, it took him a couple of years to get full strength and trust back into his body. So just hoping we don't go down that same route for Baah.
Agreed. Should we do score predictions before I run through my season predictions so you've got them on record?
Let's do it. We're going to take the predictions league a bit more seriously this season. I've taken full
responsibility. I'm fuming about this, because what's going to happen to my weekly free prediction? No, I'm not going to be able to go for. I'm going to have to take this seriously. So Sam, if you forget about these score predictions and we don't take it seriously, I want a crate of sumos.
Crate of sumos. That's the deal. Everyone in the comments can hold me to account as well. A crate of sumos. And if you do also want to get a crate of sumos, head down to the Mad Squirrel, where I believe they will be open after the game. After Charlton, you can head down there before Norwich on Tuesday as well. And we'll be in there after QPR, hopefully, as well, for our first home game.
So good. So smooth. I'm going to go with... I actually think we'll lose Saturday.
Yeah.
And I think we'll lose 2-1.
Charles? Oh, 3-0 Charlton.
I'm going to be a bit more positive. And opening days always throw up like mad score lines. Let's start off with a 3-3. Let's do it.
3-3. Love it. Love it.
Nice.
Sam, welcome.
I think we're actually going to have a good start to the season. I think we're going to start well. I just think this is the worst possible game. I think they're going to come flying out the blocks, chucking long balls at us, and a young team. I don't know. I am positive about this season. I'm just not confident about this one. It's just like you said earlier, Jacob. It screams of Luton last season, I think.
It does, doesn't it? Rio says Charlton haven't lost at home since November 2024. I'm pretty sure that's an unbelievable record. If that is the case, let us know your score prediction in the comment section below. People, well, I think it was Charlotte who said, "Are you guys going to be monitoring who gets the score predictions right throughout the season?" We will probably tally it up at the end and have a little look. And Jack also said, "What happened to the predictions forfeit from the 22-23 season to wear the Elton John costume to a game?" Don't think we have forgotten. Jack, firstly, you're an unbelievable subscriber. Absolutely incredible. No, that's why you're one of our moderators. But also, I don't think for whatever reason it got lost in the post, that one. Well, I think I ordered it and it just didn't arrive.
I think we hold it to this season. We'll think of a forfeit. Let us know in the comments because I'll keep track of it. And whoever loses, think of a forfeit for us.
Okay, quick 5 predictions from me, lads, to finish off. Player of the season. I've gone a little bit rogue with this, but let me know your reaction to it. Player of the season, Egle Selvik.
Young player of the season.
Cipriano.
For young player of the season.
24, isn't he?
Oh, is that not allowed? Is 24 the cut-off?
He's finished, isn't he?
Okay. In that case, young player of the season, I'm going to go with a Banqua.
Surprise of the season?
Semedo.
Ooh, like it. Hot take?
Cipriano will end up as our starting centre-back.
Whole season or at one point?
By the end of it.
I don't hate it. I do not hate it at all. Top goal scorer?
It's hot take, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the next one?
Top goal scorer?
I've gone Kurumgard.
Best signing?
Cipriano.
League position?
So I've gone 11th. I think Watford will do the complete opposite of last season, where we start slow until January, new manager, and then we finish really strong and we've got an outside chance of the playoffs. That's what I think will happen. And I think we'll have 2 managers.
Random prediction?
Chatford Datsy will leave in January.
And what's your WDA team prediction for this season?
I didn't even know that was on the list. My WDA team prediction.
So what did we have last week, Sam? What did me and you go for? I said Sam will appear on Sky Sports at one point in the season, probably talking about our new manager at some point.
I have to admit, can I just say to everybody who's listening and watching, I tried to go as I literally was on the train back tonight and I was just typing it going, yeah, it feels about right. Like, yeah, that'll be all right.
You seem quite like Cipriano, Jacob.
I like him.
Yeah, every other answer was Cipriano for that.
Well, according to you. To be fair, I didn't know he was. I didn't know he didn't fit into young player of the season. So I've got him down for 2, Sam.
Oh, no worries. The Kip lives another day.
And Banqua is my young player of the season. I've picked defensive players, which is never good. And then my WDA team prediction for the season is Sam will do another Porteous where he tweets it's a big game for the player and they get sent off in 5 minutes.
I'll always miss Porteous, you know. I've a soft spot in my heart for him.
I've gone really rogue. To be honest, guys, I hadn't really thought about my predictions, but I think the other 2 lads did it a lot better than me. Any ones you thought are completely never happening? What was your favourite out the lot? Charlotte has what am I on?
I like the Cipriano at centre half. Like I can see that.
Okay.
And I quite like the Selvik shout. I thought that was good.
Okay.
Where
did you lads go in the end? I went 11th. You went.
I think I went 12th.
Oh.
I don't know if I went 11th or 10th.
Okay, so we're all around the same mark. All right. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see anyway. See you in how many months? 9 months or so? 230 days, something like that. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. Some great numbers today. We hit an hour. It's Thursday. It's 9:45. But I hope you did enjoy it. Charlie, Sam, absolute legends. This is always brought to you. The channel is always brought to you in partnership with the Hertfordshire Minds. As Sam said, make sure to check out the Mad Squirrel as well. We'll be back there hopefully very, very soon. And if you see us, you lads are all going on Saturday?
We will be there.
Us three will all be there in the away and with the 3,000 Watford fans. So if you do see us, come and say hello. Love to get you a beer if you're allowed to, if you're over 18. And yeah, it's not Mad Squirrel beer, but I'm sure it'll be a decent pot anyway. We'll see you then. Charlie, Sam, absolute pleasure. And thanks so much for watching. Take care, guys. And up the audits. You odds.